Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the stock market analysis update video. And today we'll be looking at QQQ, Sp500, Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta. So we'll be looking at their support and resistance levels that can potentially play off of, as well as the most likely scenario price will be heading into later this week. So today we had the FOMC meeting, and we got a rate hold because it was priced in 99% of a rate hold. So we knew that was coming, but his Q&A session was a little bit more dovish for me. Versus back a month ago, it was a little bit more hawkish. So it's a little bit of a flipping around, but overall, markets liked it, and we rallied into the end of the day. So we still have our first rate cut in June of 2024, still pricing in about the same. And as long as data, CPI data has come in and all the inflation data come in aligned, we probably won't get any surprises on this graph. All right, let's take a look at the technicals. So last week, I talked about where we're extreme fear and we're likely getting a bounce. And we had a little bit of a rough condition a couple of days down here, but after today, and we broke out. So we had a couple of earnings last week from the big mega cap techs, and tomorrow we have Apple reporting after hours. So that's pretty much the last mega cap tech stocks. And after this week, most of the earnings are pretty much over. There's other smaller ones a couple later next week as well, but so far earnings are coming in decent. So in my opinion, if we don't get any surprises in the macro environment and all the other things, you might get a year-end rally, and so we'll have to see. But first we need to form a daily uptrend first over here, because we are still in a weekly downtrend. Overall, on the weekly chart, you can see top of the move, we made a lower high, meaning this high is lower than the prior high, and we made a lower low, meaning the low is lower than this low. So that's a weekly downtrend. We bounced, same thing, made a lower high, we couldn't get over this high, confirmed a weekly downtrend continuing. So this could still be a weekly downtrend, right? Even when we have a big enough bounce, as long as we don't get above this pivot, and let's say we come back up here and reject it from there again, right? Doesn't mean we're going to roll all the way over down here and break this low. What we want to see is that bulls bounce big enough, hit that resistance, pull back, and not give it all back, and then bounce from there to form a weekly uptrend for us to potentially have that week year-end rally. But by the time we get that weekly uptrend, it's already going to be like end of November. So we want to position ourselves on a daily time frame, where we want to see a daily uptrend confirmed first. Now we have a big enough bounce where on the next pullback, we have space now for a daily uptrend to confirm. But as of now, no signs of slowdown yet on this initial bounce. So we still maybe have room to come up to all the way to potentially this 361 zone. We can see it was acting as resistance here, and it was acting as support back here, support as well. So when we come up to that level, which is we're going to act as resistance because price is under it. There's another 1.5% roughly move. So we can have a straight 1.5% shot up there. It does make sense for us to pull back a little bit to see if we can get that daily uptrend, forming a pivot, and then head higher there, because that would be a 6% move off the low. So that's pretty significant, and slightly pullback is probably going to happen. But we just kind of broken out of the sideways slow grind range. So you can see zero signs of slowdown yet at this moment. Even after hours, we're still going up. As long as hourly uptrend is intact, we're not going to get any kind of pullback. So we'll be using the EMA 12, so this teal looking line, for our guide. That's exponential moving average 12. You can see we bounce off of there once. So as long as it keeps trending with it and forming those hourly uptrends, and no signs of daily consolidation is going to be on its way. But what daily consolidation means is just that one candle on the daily is going to be below the other one. So let's say we get another one tomorrow like this, right? And then the next day we get one like that, where it's below this one, then that's a daily consolidation. And Right now, no signs of that yet. I want to see an hourly downtrend. So let's say we bounce tomorrow, and then we hit here, pulls back, and then forms an hourly downtrend like that. Then we may say daily consolidation may potentially be on its way. So as of now, no signs of slowdown at this given moment. Bulls are happy overall. If we break above this pivot right there, this 360 level, it goes from a daily downtrend into a neutral trend. So that'll be a win for the bulls as well if we can get over above 360. Negating the daily downtrend back to a neutral. And then we need to form a pivot for us to say it becomes a daily uptrend. Yeah, so everything looks good. Let's take a look at SPY. SPY, similar look. We are testing the 200-day moving average though. So if we can't get over above the 200-day moving average, which is the yellow looking line, that is a red flag. Last thing bulls want to see is a break below the 200-day moving average, back tested it, and rejected from that. That would be a red flag for bulls. So we may get a slight pullback, but if we start to retrace more than 50% of this bounce, then that's going to be a hard rejection, and that would be a red flag. But if we just get like a slight 32% retracement and then bounce, break above it, then it's all good. So I have to see if we can break above this 200-day moving average tomorrow for SPY. We just touched it today. It's at 423.33. So we'll see if tomorrow may get over that. After hours, we may be above it already. Let's see, 423. Now we're still on it. If we continue to go up higher overnight on the futures, we may open above it. So we'll see if that happens or not. If we do open above it, let's slightly open above it. I want to see the act of support when we dip from it and then bounce from there. That would be a good sign for the bulls. For bears, if we do open above it, you want to see it cut through it. Right when we gap up and you want to sell into it and break below that. So we'll see if who's going to win out from that. And hourly trend is going to be our guide as well. Hourly 12 EMA bouncing off of it, as well as the trend is still intact. See, very clear hourly uptrend. No signs of hourly downtrend yet. So we'll let it continue as long as it's an hourly uptrend. Right, let's take a look at Tesla. So Tesla had a bear flag confirmed right here. It was a flagging bear break. So that was a confirmed bear flag. And it's starting to look a little bit lacking follow through here, as we pretty much bounced right after that break. And now we're back into this flag. So another day bounce is pretty much a bear flag, bear break, lacking follow through. It does make sense because we were already oversold in this zone, and then we went even more oversold, and at RSI was at like what, 24. And if the market is bouncing hard, it's kind of hard to take Tesla even lower while it's already oversold, while the whole market is bouncing, right? If the whole market was still selling off, it doesn't make sense that Tesla can go lower. But with it being already oversold, plus the market bouncing very strong, it definitely helped to negate this bear flag with more follow through for Tesla bulls. Doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet, because we're still in a daily downtrend. And what we want to see is, can Tesla bulls get above 210? Because that was a key support here, resistance, and now it's going to act as resistance when we come back up to it. So we'll see if Tesla can break above that resistance, and if we do, then we have a big enough bounce where Tesla can potentially form a daily uptrend. But as of now, it's still in a daily downtrend, and did confirm our early uptrend today for the first time. Dip, see this pivot being set. This pivot is higher than this pivot, so it's a higher low. And then we had an end of the day rally. We broke up this pivot, so now it's an hourly uptrend confirming. So next, what I want to see is we break above that 210 which is the sideways range, as well as that over there in the back, that resistance zone. So if we can do that, then we may get more upsides where we can test this 17 level. All right, let's take a look at Nvidia. So Nvidia had that head and shoulders bear break as well, and lacking follow through. So we're getting some bear breaks here on a lot of these big names, but they're lacking follow through at the moment. Hence, we got this 2-day strong bounce. So you can see more clearly on the 2-day time charts. So this was the head. Sorry, this was the left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right there. So you can break that 400 yesterday. Did we break it? Was it yesterday or? So the neckline was at pretty much $400 psychological support, and we broke it yesterday and lacking follow through. So this was supposed to break and then flush a little bit lower, but we broke it right in the morning. Let's take a look at the hourly charts. So you can see right in the morning we break that 400 mark, and we did get some follow through. You can see this bear volume coming in right when it breaks, because everybody, their grandma, was looking at that $400 level and that head and shoulders as well. So when it broke, you definitely probably got some people stopping out, longs getting stopped out, bears shorting it, but it didn't get much follow through. You can see we hit 292 support and then V-shaped. That was it, right? So essentially, it wasn't a real bear break, lacking zero follow through, right? Especially the faster you come back to it, the less follow through it meant it is. So we pretty much just V-shaped on the same day. So essentially, it's zero follow through. And then we just because one side is lacking follow through, we know there is no more sellers here, no more bears here. Then the least path of resistance, we go up there. You did the whole market give bears a chance, right? They broke it, and the bears didn't want it. So the least path of resistance is going up. So next level, let's take a look here. So now Nvidia was in a daily downtrend from here. Now it's in a neutral, because this was the pivot of the daily downtrend, and now we're above it from this bounce. So now we're in a neutral trend. We're not in an uptrend yet, but the bounce is big enough where on the next pullback, we will have space to form that uptrend if it's a shallow pullback. We're also above the 12 EMA, so it's a good sign. You can see we rejected here. Prior, it was acting as support, right? Prior support, acting as resistance, we're below it. So this is going to be acting as resistance, but now we're above it. Sign. We have broken above resistance. You can see in after hours when you're even higher. So that's a clear break. So tomorrow, if we pull back the first thing in the morning, I want to see it test that 12 EMA. If we gap up, which we currently already gapped up, then I want to see it bounce from there and go higher. All right, let's take a look at Apple. So Apple, decent bounce. Sorry, Amazon. I'm not looking at Apple yet. Oh, wait, missed it. So we're looking at Apple. So Apple is going to have earnings tomorrow. After hours, it's going to be big. You can see Apple hasn't bounced as much as its other peers because everyone is waiting for its earnings instead of getting it in. So if Apple reports decently, we probably get a big bounce as well. But Apple didn't do well on its earnings for the past couple quarters. So we'll see how it ends up playing out. But hourly uptrend intact, pretty much completely sideways for a couple of days, and then broke out today with the whole market. And on the daily chart to see where is going to be strong resistance acting. So this falling wedge is our visual guide for big picture. We're very clear. We know what Apple is going to be trading overall. You can see resistance rejected 3 times, support bounced off of it 4 times as well. So now we're just in the middle of the range between the two. But this mirror looking line support is going to act as a resistance now. So when we come up to it here around that 176, it's going to act as resistance. So we'll see if we can break above that or not. If we can break above this level right here, then we're obviously going to head into that falling wedge around this level, around 179. course, everything's going to depend on the earnings. So we'll see how it goes. We get a bullish earnings and it just continues, or we get a bearish one, then we come back down to test this 167 zone, lower zone again. All right, let's take a look at Amazon. So after Amazon's bullish earnings, we're now back testing this range, this upper sideways range. So it's a good sign. Amazon reported very well earnings, so it does make sense for them to bounce for 15%. We pretty much broke above all the major resistance. You can see this was a strong level of resistance at 134, strong level of resistance at 131. All these levels of resistance here, 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 and now we have broken above all of it. So now we're just at this 52-week high structure here now. So yeah, so the probably gonna come up if we get another green day tomorrow. We'll come up to 140. 140 also is a strong level of resistance. And then let's say we just get a shallow pullback, and then we may confirm a daily uptrend from there. But this bounce is so large, any kind of pullback, we're probably going to daily uptrend, because it's very unlikely that Amazon is going to roll 16% over down here after $8 earning. So any kind of pullback, it's going to form a higher low pivot, and it's going to come from daily uptrend. Right now, it's in a neutral trend, even though it's a big bounce. We still haven't confirmed the trend because it hasn't set a pivot yet. We'll have to wait to see. Once it hits its clear strong resistance, maybe it's going to be 140. Maybe we'll just go to 143. Then decides it wants to pull back for the pivot. But as of now, zero signs of slowdown on Amazon. You can see very clear, very, very clear hourly uptrend, and zero signs of slowdown yet. All right, take a look at Google. So Google, after its earnings report, missing cloud, it's been a little bit weaker down here. But now that the market is bouncing for a couple of days, it's also participating as well. But of course, it's a lot weaker than the other peers of its bounce. But we are testing this sideways structure here now. Let me delete that real quick. So we are looking back at pretty much the top of this structure. So around 127. So I'm looking at 127 for the bounce. If we can break above 127, then we will try to test this gap. But as of now, let's take a look at the hourly charts. So hourly chart, we are right at 127 after hours. So tomorrow, if we do open right at 127, there may be a slight rejection from it, depending on how the market goes, or we just blow right through it. Because in the futures chart right now, we're a little bit gapping up even higher now on the QQQ, so we may gap up above it. So there's a lot of big tech stocks that might gap up above its resistance. So if we gap up above the resistance, there's a good chance that we will back test it right in the morning of like a sell-off, like a little sell-off into the back test of the support. And if we can bounce from that, then we may rally. So we'll have to see into tomorrow. So that is what I'll be looking at. All right, Microsoft here. So Microsoft broke out of this tiny range. That's what I think we looked at this together on Monday or Friday, I forgot. But so this was the tiny range, broke bull, and then continued. So let me delete this. All right, so now we're looking at pretty much this blue line, 150 range again. So it's the highest level at 150. And yeah, it's pretty much what we'll be looking at. Clear trend. No other resistance in the way at this moment. Very clear bull flag right here, or an hourly bull flag broke out of it as well. So we're probably looking at this bull flag continuing into 150 tomorrow with the market. So we'll see how the market gaps up tomorrow. As of now, no signs of slowdown either as well. And Meta. All right, let's take a look at Meta. Meta here pretty much broke above elephant's resistance as well. So we had that was a bit hard to see, but we're pretty much testing this resistance right here. You see the amount of times we bounce off of there, probably like 10 times. And here as well, another 2, rejected from there. Now we're just right on it. It also looks like we broke above it in after hours. So same thing with a lot of these other mega cap techs. If we do gap up above it, because we're so close to it, we may also come down. Let's say we gap up over here. We may also come down to retest it to see if we can bounce off of that. So if we get a couple of red candles in the morning and then back test all those supports, then bounce from there, that's a decent entry point. Set your stop loss below those supports. And let's see if it plays out. We'll rally a little bit more into the end of Thursday or not. But as of now, let's take a look to see next level of resistance. Clearly 313. And if we can get back to that, 317 is where we'll be looking at. We tested those levels multiple times already, so we know how that's going to trade. You can see rejection here as well. Acted at multiple supports down here, multiple resistance here. So when we come up to it, it's going to act as resistance. So we may potentially gap up to above 113, sell off in the morning, back test it, and then see if we can bounce from there, go higher. Or not. For bears, if you want to see we gap up above it, sell off, cut through it, and that'll increase the momentum to the downside. All right, that's all I got for you guys. I will record the commodities video right after this one. I'm probably gonna go grab breakfast first. I'm still traveling, and I will see you guys maybe tomorrow or Friday, depending on what I'm doing in Asia at the moment and Taiwan. So, all right, have a great rest of you guys.